The end of the year is a time of celebration and spending time with family. However, it is also a time to look back on what has occurred in the previous year. For my final video of the year, I figured, why not take a trip down memory lane for gaming this year and tackle what has happened this year in gaming. So without further ado, let's begin. Back in January, the top selling console was the Nintendo Switch. The highest selling game was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. You better get used to listening to those two things. They're going to be said a lot. The second game was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and for some projects done by the community or for the community, Awesome Games Done Quick, which was a charity event supporting cancer prevention on January 16th. A Game On was held to allow aspiring developers to learn and gain knowledge of the game industry, and many more things happened, but those are the only two that I commented on for reasons that we will not talk about. February, the Switch continued its streak of 2 for the highest selling console of the month. The highest selling game, which surprised me, was Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Number 2, making it from last month, was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. The big thing of the month was BlizzCon on the 19th of February. March kinda came and went, and no one really cared about it, but what happened in March? Well, the highest selling console was the Xbox Series S, and number 1, Call of Duty Cold War Black Ops. Woo! Our runner-up is Monster Hunter Rise, and for a key time, London Games Festival happened on the 14th. Woohoo for London. April was weird in the world, like most of the months were, like this whole year has been. But how was gaming changed by it? Well, the Switch struck back to number 1 for the highest selling console. The highest selling game this year was MLB The Show. Who would have guessed? No one, because it's a baseball game. And number 2 was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. For a key moment, we have GI Live, a project to improve indie games, on the 16th. And the very next day, we had the Indie Publishing Awards. And finally, the 23rd, we had Ludonarracon, a Steam-held celebration of narrative writing in video games. May existed. That's where that sentence is ending. The Switch continued to be the most selling console of the month. Most popular game was Resident Evil, with number 2 being MLB The Show. Like Grievous adding another lightsaber to his collection, I am adding another indie game festival to mine with the Brazil Independent Games Festival on the 5th of May. Adding more indie games to the list, we have Digital Dragons, Indie Celebration, and Business Meetup, which was a presentation of the 60 best indie games. June appeared, and all the children were overjoyed to be on summer break. And who would have guessed that the highest selling console was the Switch? Guess a lot of people were trying to play Mario this year. The top selling game this year was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And your returning man who will not get off the list, COD Black Ops Cold War, was number 2. July 7th was the true beginning for gamers as Netflix announced the shows for The Witcher, Cuphead, and more. But I just jumped a thing in my script. The Free Play Independent Game Festival held a game festival, and I don't know what you guys thought you were getting there. E3 held their conferences. Steam held their conferences. Steam gave 100 free demos. And finally, the true best thing that happened in all of June, the Sonic Symphony Orchestra celebrating the 30-year length of Sonic. Oh yeah. July is the month of vacation. At least it is for me. But how did gaming celebrate this month? The highest selling console this month, which was the Switch, who I am going to crown the winner of the console war. Eat it, Xbox and PlayStation. The highest selling game was Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. And I'm going to give out one more crown this month for the most annoying game on this list, called Black Ops Cold War, as it is number 2. The first playable happened in Italy, allowing Italian developers to interact with international developers. Very big. GameIndustry.biz is awarded to the employers who shown excellence to their employees across the year on July 1st. GDC 2021 is a celebration of the art, craft, and music of game development, which happened on the 19th. Amaze was opened in Berlin, focusing on art house games. The 2021. It was not a maze like a cornfield maze, but it was just titled A Maze. I know, very confusing, but you guys will get it. I believe in you. EA Play was hosted the 22nd, which was just what you'd expect from the company. And to top off the month, Global Game Jam, which helped teens learn how to make games on the 26th. August happened. And now we're going to talk about what happened in August, because I guarantee none of you guys remember. PlayStation 5 finally became the highest selling console of the month. Woohoo for PlayStation. The best selling game was Madden 22. And Ghost of Tsushima finally kicked Cold War off of this list. Thank you, Ghost of Tsushima. The really only thing that happened in August that probably isn't true, but the only thing I put on the script was that DevCon happened in August, which is Europe's big developer conference, which happened on the 24th. September was a numbing month, as it stayed, because, all months have been numbing since the virus all of this year. Man, I'm bored. The best-selling console was the PlayStation 5. The best-selling game of the month was Madden 22. The runner-up was FIFA 22. There is so much that happened in this month. Saying it's going to be annoying. Let's try to speedrun this. Bit Summit, which is Japan's #1 indie game show, happened the 2nd. XDS Adapt, which pushes game developers to practice external development, which happened the 14th. Yuki Games Development was a way for game designers to get funding for their game, which happened the 23rd. Darkstar 3 happened the 23rd as well, which gave a chance for developers and investors to get professional help and how to do what they are trying to do. Don't know what that means. Literally don't know why it is there. I'm not questioning it. Finally, the African Creative Meeting happened the same day as the past two, of course, which had stakeholders discuss Africa's games, esports, animation, and graphics. October, or how it's actually known, spooky season, rolled around, and everyone enjoys spooky season. So, how did gaming celebrate the greatest season? First, reanimated from the dead to kill all who tried to put it down. The Switch went back to the top-selling console, Let's Go and all. And for the first time since the beginning of this list, 2 new games are at the top selling games of the month. Can I get a woohoo? And first we have Far Cry 6, and in second we have Back 4 Blood 4. London Games Festival kicked the month off. Oh my god. Why is there an 8 in kicked? Of the first day of celebration of the games. And Melbourne International Games did the same thing the next day in Australia. Round 1, Italy's premier esport event happened the 5th. GI Live happened again on the 6th. Australian Game Developer Awards happened also on the 6th, which is exactly what the title says it is. Esports Barcanes happened for the top esports players to do business like contracts on the 13th. Sweden Game Conference 2021 came the 13th, which is Europe's leading conference for game development. There is a lot more that happened this month, but for the sake of my sanity and my willingness to do this, we are moving on to November. A month that everyone just wanted to get rid of so that December would roll around faster. November. The Switch maintained its crown for another month. Most sold console, most sold game this month was Call of Duty Vanguard, followed by Battlefield 2042. Indie Live Expo, which gets indie game fans connected with indie game devs, happened on the 6th. Game Sound Con was a convention for gamers for game sound, which happened the 8th. Finally, the month that we're in, or at least I'm in while making this video, December. The top selling console as of writing this script was the Switch, and the top selling game is, well, I don't know, because it hasn't been released. The numbers haven't been released because the month isn't over. And we will not know until the month is over. So, yeah, there's the video. Woo! This took me so goddamn long. Please subscribe. Do anything. I'm just tired of this bullshit.